You know that vast sea of data we're creating every single day? What if it wasn't just sitting there, waiting for us to tell it what to do? Today, we're diving into a truly mind-bending concept from the edge of technology, the living database. This is an idea where data doesn't just exist, it actually evolves.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. What if your data were alive? Seriously, just think about that for a second. Not just stored away somewhere, but active. Not just collected, but constantly changing. Forget everything you know about spreadsheets and servers. This idea changes the entire game.
The shift we're talking about here is just fundamental. We'd be moving away from our current world of passive entries, you can think of these like books collecting dust on a library shelf, to a brand new world of active entities. These are more like individual actors in a complex ecosystem, all interacting and working with each other.
Okay, so first, let's ground ourselves in how things work right now. We're going to take a quick look at the current paradigm, this world of static information.
Right now, even with these massive big data systems we have, the information is basically inert. It just sits there in some giant digital warehouse, totally passive, doing absolutely nothing until a person or a program shows up and gives it a command. Fetch this, sort that, analyze this. Don't get me wrong, it's powerful, but it's not proactive at all.
But what if we just flip that entire model on its head? This brings us to the core concept of the living database. And what's so fascinating about this is where the inspiration comes from. It's not out of some computer science lab, it's from biology and ecology. This quote just perfectly nails the idea. We're being asked to completely reframe how we think, to see our data architecture not as a static thing we built, but as a living, autonomous organism. That one idea is the bedrock for everything else we're about to talk about.
So let's put an official name on it, a living database. It's a system where data points aren't just entries anymore, they're active entities. It's inspired by the rules of ecology and would be able to organize itself and even evolve over time, all without a human having to step in and micromanage it.
So that's the big, kind of crazy idea. But you're probably wondering, okay, how would a system like this actually work? Let's break down the mechanics.
It all unfolds in 4 stages that are all connected. First, your data points become active entities, almost like individual cells in a body, each acting on its own. Second, the system starts to adapt. It can dynamically respond to new info, kind of like how an ecosystem reacts to a sudden change in the weather. Third is evolution, where the database's actual structure changes and improves over time. And then, here's the most radical step of all, self-generation. This is where the system starts creating completely new information and insights all by itself. So, to quickly recap, what we're talking about is a system that's inspired by nature, built from active parts, and can adapt, evolve, and even create. The real takeaway here is how our relationship with data would fundamentally change. It becomes less of a tool that we use and more of a partner that we work with.
Now, if you've been following along, you've probably realized this has some, well, massive implications. And that brings us to the most disruptive part of this whole idea. What happens to our sense of control when our data systems become truly autonomous?
Yeah, it really all boils down to this one simple but pretty profound question. If the system can adapt and evolve and create new information on its own, then who's actually in control? The user, the administrator, or the system itself? This chart here really visualizes that dramatic shift in power. Just look at the bars. In a traditional database, we humans have almost all the control. That's that 95% you see right there. But with a living database, whoa, that ratio gets completely flipped. Autonomous control skyrockets to 90%. We'd go from being operators to being, I don't know, maybe gardeners or stewards. This totally upends our entire concept of what technological governance even means.
So the ultimate takeaway is crystal clear. This isn't just about an upgrade or some new piece of software. It represents a fundamental disruption in our relationship with information and with technology itself. We'd go from managing data to actually collaborating with it.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to chew on. If a system can self-organize, adapt, evolve, and generate brand new things, is a living database a new kind of life form? It's a question that pushes the boundaries between technology, biology, and even philosophy. Something to think about, right?